Hey there, I took a look at my Ultimate Freddy Krueger NECA figure recently, and Freddy pairs so well with Jason, so I thought it was only fitting that I also show him off as well. I began collecting action figures again by buying these guys in 2018. I quickly got sidetracked with a couple of other interests in the action figures line though. I am still aiming to someday finish the NECA horror collection with the other greats, missing some figures like Michael Myers, a Pinhead, Leatherface at the very least. I've got these two 80s kings though, so that's something. The box art for this NECA figure here shows Jason from the fourth movie of the franchise, seemingly the final time that we'll be seeing Jason on screen, but it definitely wasn't. An image for the poster here, the movie's logo, and Jason are all displayed over the box art here. On the back we have our man standing tall with a couple of images of the accessories included, but this is not everything that's included, trust me, there's a whole lot more going on here. You can open up the door here to reveal a window packaging of Jason and all those really great looking extras just standing by. Always pleased with the level of care that NECA put into their boxes for their figures. Here's Jason ready to go out of his box. For me personally, Jason 3 is my ideal perfect look for Jason. This one's a pretty good substitute though. All of those extras that he's included with really make up for the fact that he's not my perfect ideal design. It's all about the green shirt and the mask for me. I love the details in his mask immediately here, which is a separate piece that is a fully removable part from the toy. What seems like it should be an impossible feat to achieve here is executed so flawlessly here. His head's quite scary underneath, one closed eye and one that's enlarged. Jason's likeness changes from movie to movie, so no style underneath the helmet will ever truly match a definitive look, but this one's not too bad actually. I just really love that material that's been used for the mask here. It feels like a really solid replica piece of a hockey mask that's been shrunk down for toys. It fits really smoothly on him actually, and it feels like it won't be solid and stay on, but it genuinely is really snug. He's got the same material for his shirt that Freddy Krueger used. Using a different material for his shirt to his legs is a really great design choice in my opinion. I really love it when toys can articulate a difference in texture like that, even though realistically his shirt wouldn't be a rubber design. He's got some really nice wet blood details all pouring throughout him. A good portion of this movie does take place during the rain if I'm remembering correctly, so Jason here does look really soaked in all of his details. I think that that's a design that works really well. He's quite stocky, but he does still feature some good articulation and some details going on for him. His arms can move up and down, in and out with some rotates as well. He's got elbow bends here, and his hands have their own rotations as well. His fingers though are a really solid plastic piece. It's really hard to actually get him to hold on to any weapon, and his fingernails are really long actually, so having to move them around kind of hurts a little. Open palmed hand on the other side, so this hand is no use for accessories. He has a little bit of waist movement here, but he's a bit stiff in this section though. We can see some bloody details on him a bit better here on his pants. He's got some pretty clear definition for where some old stains are and some new ones. I really love that. His legs can move outwards and he has some knee articulation, and his feet can move too, just so slightly. The real draw for this figure is the plethora of items that he comes with, far more than most action figures would ever include. Some alternate looks, display extras, and a bunch of weapons. We've got an alternate fist hand type, which still has an opening for holding onto accessories. This replaces the hand that can already hold the accessories though, so I'm kind of unclear what it's supposed to be used for. The gap is super small, so I guess it's perfect for items like his knife. So speaking of, the knife is really cool. It's got a really slick look to it to appear as though the material is a different kind. Blood has been stained on the blade here, freshly colored. It's a really tight fit. Feels a little bit like you're going to be damaging this, if we're being completely honest here, but I think that ends up being the case with most NECA figures. He includes his mother's gravestone, Myers has his sister's gravestone, Jason has his mother's. Nice solid addition, feels pretty light and hollowed on the inside there though. An axe, which is probably the least detailed weapon here. I suppose I do like the fact that some of the weapon inclusions here are clean, so you can have him displayed as though he's maybe just stalking people, hasn't attacked them just yet, but this guy's really bloody and worn down, so I'm gonna have him with some weapons to showcase this. He's got a butcher's cleaver's knife here, which is what he uses on Crispin Glover, I'm pretty sure. Really bloody here as well. And speaking of, here's that corkscrew that he really needed to open that wine bottle. Really fun callback, a little bit of blood here at the end as well. He then also has a bone saw, same level of bloody detail here as on the other accessories. This one's a little bit tricky to get him to hold on to though. Little awkward in its shaping and his tightly gripping hands. Finally, here is a machete, which like the others has some really cool bloody markings on it, but the blood looks older compared to some of the other weapons included for me. Really great addition and will be super useful later on. He also includes a really cool second option for both his head and his hockey mask. Instead of including just either one or the other, they include both, which I think is really cool. The detail changes are a bit minimal on first glance for me for the hockey mask, but they are there once you notice it. The mask has some different details here, like less red hockey marks here, and a couple of other differences in some bloody details. The head though is quite distinctly different. This head has a much bigger wound mark here, and there's a bit more blood detailed on his face. This is his quote dead expression here. You can see that there's this really great big slot opening on the side of his face that's actually interactable with a bunch of other weapons. If we swap over the heads really quick, now you can see how he looks when he is supposedly killed. The machete can fit into that slot right there on his face, and it looks as though he's been killed by Tommy and his sister. Here's me showing you every other weapon that can kind of fit in that slot. The knife, of course, it does fit too, but it takes up a lot less room in that wound than the machete. The cleaver here works as well, makes sense. We figured that one would probably work anyway. Here he is up against his mother's tombstone with a buzzsaw in his eye, and the axe can also fit inside as well. Overall, I am also very impressed with the NECA Jason figure. I love him just as much as I love that Freddy. He offers a lot of options with the accessories and interactive features here. I love some of those details of bloodstains, both fresh and old, featured on his weapons and his body details. And I really like the texture differences between his clothing as well. He and Freddy are two of my favorite items that I own. The pairing works really great if you love those movies as much as I do, so I think I need to really try and get a hold of those other famous horror villains now. If you enjoyed this review and you'd like to see some more, I would appreciate liking this video and subscribing. It really does help to support this channel.